Multiple CEOs said that AI is going to replace most, if not all, coders by 2026, which as a coder of 20 years, I think is an indisputable brain rot take. So I made a video to prove that only someone with AI psychosis can believe this by asking ChatGPT to make an app that would be a challenge for even the most seasoned developer, just to get a sense of how good it actually is. And of course, it failed miserably.
All right, let's run it. Yo, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
But after I did that test, you all said that I did it wrong. And some of you even got really offended. So I'm gonna do it the way that you guys say that I should do it. Because either I'm wrong or some of you also need to check yourself into a psychosis clinic with the CEOs. Okay, so I got multiple comments telling me the right way to vibe code is to use Cursor with the latest Claude model. Which, real fast, vibe coding for those of you new here is basically a tech bro's wet dream of describing your app idea to an AI and it brings it to life. Doesn't matter. On the toilet, blackout drunk, whatever. What takes teams of hundreds of talented people to do, vibe coding will get the job done apparently on its own. Right.
So here I have the cursor-free trial with the Claude model ready to rock. And in my last vibe coding attempt, I tried to vibe code a fascinating yet challenging evolution simulator, but the result was very embarrassing. I feel bad for all you vibe coders out there, because now I'm going to embarrass y'all as alleged vibe coding king. I'm sorry in advance.
But before we get into that, we need to lay down some ground rules. Rule number 1, I can't touch not even a single line of code. I can't taste it, smell it, hear it, nada. I practically need not even know that it exists. If AI is as good as y'all want me to believe, it shouldn't need my help. And that's it for the ground rules. Let's get started.
All right, let's try and figure this out. The worst part about new software is learning it. I'm looking to build an evolution sim where there's going to be a sub sim and a main sim. All right, let's run down what we're trying to build.
My Evo sim is broken down into 2 parts. There's a main sim and the sub sim. The sub sim simulates an organism's microbiology and decides things like when they move, eat, defecate, reproduce. You get the idea. While the main sim is where all these actions take place, with every action being the result of something simulated in the subsim. For example, this organism has a bunch of energy converters that converts radiation into potential energy, making it nearly immune to radiation mutations. And hopefully by this point you can see just how tight this sim would be in action.
Let's give this a shot. I think I can drop an image into here. I started off by showing my concept design to the AI, and I was quite surprised on how quickly it picked up on what the goal was. Though I know the AI will be tapping out any moment here when I add more complexity. I'm just so skeptical. There's no way that it can do all this and still maintain understandability, right? So far so good. This is looking good, but there's some changes that I need to make. We need to change the behavior of the elements slightly. Now this actually impressed me. I yapped here for a good minute or two trying to provide as much detail as I could, and wow, look at that. They summarized everything I just said in a couple sentences. I'm excited to see what we got. Oh my god, no. And yep, sure enough, we have our first expected regression where the AI added my feature request at the cost of removing other features. Not good. This is not good. This is the beginning of the end, I feel. Barely just got starting to get to know him. But it was not the beginning of the end. It was actually just a slight misunderstanding, because I continued to explain to the AI my design idea and what it got wrong, and surprisingly, it just kept correcting the mistakes like a giga. But then it was time to increase the difficulty of my coding requests. I wanted to give each receptor a binding element and check for collisions with that specific binding element. This is a pretty complicated step. I expect it to kind of fall apart and not understand exactly what I'm asking for here. But if that's not the case, if it actually does understand what I'm asking for and is able to deliver, I'm going to be incredibly impressed, and you will get some concessions from me here. Maybe it's impressive, but I don't know what their binding elements are. So, and after being able to work with the AI a bit and verify the sim is working as intended enough times, my tune on vibe coding was starting to shift a little bit. Which, by the way, marks the perfect opportunity to let y'all in on a bit of a Jabrils YouTube behind the scenes. As a YouTube creator that makes videos around coding tech, I get a lot of offers to promote vibe coding products. But I'll be honest, up until this experience, I thought it was all largely just snake oil. But now that it looks like I'm a newly vibe code converter, I want to thank today's sponsor, Vibe Code. Imagine you can simply describe your app idea and it would be made. What app would you make? Well, Vibe Code is a mobile app that lets you build App Store ready apps without writing a single line of code. Imagine like a Canva or a CapCut, but for creating apps with the power of AI. And it works like this. Let's say I want to create a YouTube assistant app. I work with the AI agent to generate assets for my app. That's images, sound effects, music, etc. Then I tell the agent where and how to use these assets. And if you're looking to make something more complex, you can enable Vibecode Cloud to add user authentication, databases, and storage. And get this, you can ship to the App Store with one tap. And soon, Vibecode will be adding support for payment processing. So the only limit on what you can make will be your ideas.
And look, the truth is we live in a different era now. And if you want to make your first app without having to write a single line of code, you can try Vibecode.
I gotta say, yo, I'm having a lot of fun right now, and I'm pleasantly surprised. In fact, the AI was doing so good that the only issue I was really facing was not being able to initially verify features I requested were working as intended. But after a short sidebar adding in the features I needed to verify it was nearly always working as intended. And I'm not gonna lie, it started to leave me speechless. Wow. Yo, I'm so impressed. Wow, this is so fun. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I did not think that I was gonna get this far. And this is about as far as I've designed the sim. Because why waste the time if I knew AI wasn't gonna be able to do it? But yo, my bluff has been called. But now I need a sidebar with the AI to kind of get a better idea on how to get to the next step. Sidebar time. Then we start to work on some of the bigger picture design. Like, how do all the receptors interact with the sim? Do the elements really serve any purpose? And the AI was not only there to code it up often on its first try, but also to provide ideas. I can't believe this, man. So many W's. I feel incredibly confident that we're going to be able to see this through to the end. It's so weird to say. Are we really at this point? And it was at this point I was fully sold on vibe coding, paying lots of attention to what it can do and how it works. Dog, it even auto updates the readme. Yo, we are cooked, yo. This is the hardest part of coding, is updating your damn readme. So if AI can do this, stop liver. I'm sorry. I owe a lot of people in the comments some apologies. Then I reluctantly had to end our vibe and go to bed for dumb human reasons.
De la mañana.
All right, I am both awake and excited to continue vibe coding. I cannot believe I'm saying that sentence. I got morning voice, can you hear it? That's how excited I am. I just jumped right out of bed, washed my face, and now I'm back on the computer. But before you jump back into it,
Let's take a second to pause here and answer. Out of all the things to benchmark an AI on, why an evolution simulator? Well, one, me love a good Evo sim. And two, I believe evolution sims are the final frontier of coding. They demand all the coding principles to be firing at once. Maths, design, scalability, patience. If there is any AI out there that can successfully impress given this task, I mean, what better way to know if we're cooked or not, right? Speaking of which, back to morning voice, bro.
very nice, yo. I'm really impressed. Not only is it working practically flawlessly, man, like I haven't had nowhere near the experience I had in the last video. Every request I made removed so many other requests. It's a pretty looking app too. I gotta say, man, I did not know that we were here already. But I always felt like things were a little too good to be true, and I think I was right because we finally started to run into our first patch of errors. Wow, first error. This is not good. Hopefully this is not a sign of things to come. This error started to show up a bit more often at this point. It seems like the AI was forgetting how to correctly format the Python scripts. But I didn't really care because the AI's track record at this point was near spotless. I would describe something to it and it would always figure it out eventually, oftentimes on the first try. So if I ran into any errors, it didn't make me want to play in traffic like the first time I did this experiment because I trusted that it would deliver. And this was honestly the flow for the rest of the project. I described the feature I wanted to the AI, and in just a couple of takes it will implement it flawlessly. And then sometimes we'd have to sidebar to add visual features for me to be able to verify if the sim is working as intended. But there was a lot of impressive observations along the way. Like when I just flat out relied on the AI to add the main sim in the way that it envisioned it. This is like the ultimate test for me. If it does not break here and actually delivers on something, flabbergasted. I'm done. We're cooked. I completely concede that I was wrong, and I owe a lot of apologies because this is some serious great stuff right here. I'm gonna get some water in the meantime. It finished. I am so nervous, and yes, I'm about to eat yogurt with a fork. What are you gonna do about it? All right, moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens. Run it. This is really interesting. How can I be so sure that they're actually calculating the subsims? I think it's a good start. It's pretty, but I have no way to confirm that it's doing anything that it's intended to do. So we sidebarred to add the connected features to make sure it worked, and I just repeated this process, having a good old time seeing my vision come to life.
And I'm happy to tell you that it did work. Now, its improv vision was a little off from what I initially imagined for the main sim, but as the AI explained to me, that's mostly because it was more focused on performance. But yo, the AI absolutely killed it on this project. There are so many things things that the AI did that had my jaw on the floor. Like when it made a whole interactable app for the sim and I didn't even ask for that level of polish.
Oh, I can click an organism too? You're joking. This is such a glaze fest. I can't believe this. I owe some apologies. You're absolutely joking right now. This is absolute GG's. I'm just like in my head calculating how long it would take me to add all this stuff. And it would be hours, yo. It would be actual hours. But this can do it in a matter of seconds. I can't believe this.
Or that it was really good at adding polish, which allowed me to get carried away and vibe all over the code.
This is so fun. I don't want it to end, to be honest. And here is the final product. Now, the polish on this baddie is crazy. I can click on any organism to learn more about it. We can see its internals here, and it's all being simulated simultaneously. I have some button controls over here in the bottom right. You can see change the speed, speed it up, and jump to the end. Amazing. I have a few different graph options to choose from down here. Population over time, elements over time, offspring. Get this, I can even scrub through the timeline. Jeez. And let me remind you, I didn't touch a single line of code to make this.
And now that the evolution simulator of my dreams is done, I'm just letting it run in the background to see if I can create life with some emergent behaviors. But I've ran it for over 20 million frames. It was like a 20 gig file and no luck. So if that does happen, I'm gonna have to report back to you in another video. But hey, look, Earth took billions of years to create life. You can't really expect my app to do it in a day, could you? And finally, back to the question at hand. Do I think that y'all need to check yourselves into a psychosis clinic with the CEOs? Nah. In fact, I take back everything I said about them. After this experiment, I can see what you guys see and I think I'm wrong. Well, kinda. I'm not convinced on the claim that this is gonna replace all coding jobs, especially by 2026. It still needs a good level of hand-holding, but it can do some really impressive stuff. But I'm curious to know what the vibe coding experience is like for someone who doesn't know how to code. But regardless, the possibility of AI replacing a bunch of jobs is much closer than I initially anticipated. And I wanna leave this video on a bit of a personal note what this experience has taught me. Imagine you're a sailor, and across your 40-year career, you've always relied on physical maps to chart the seas. But then one day, something called Google Maps comes along and you have your thing. You know how to navigate physical maps and you know how to navigate it well. You can't be bothered with learning user interface, swipes and hold to press, and why bother? Now, the ocean hasn't changed at all. So in theory, you could chart the seas like that forever. However, the technology to chart the seas has moved on, and charting the seas doesn't have to be as painful as you make it. But you'll never know just how much pain you're actually in when you refuse to update your tools. That's kind of how I feel at the moment. Heard about these agents for years, never wanted to touch it, and look where it got me. I'm amazed by news that's probably 2 years old at this point. I hope you're all well. Shout out to all the patrons on screen, and I'll see you on the next one.